Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Money and Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Sheryka Alford, and she is
Anntricia Bray Smith.
We're here providing you with motivation to get out of debt, build wealth, and transform your outlook on life. Today, we're going to talk about legacy. What will your legacy be? Most often, whenever we think about legacy, we think about money or property being left behind to someone in a will. But I personally prefer one of Merriam-Webster's definitions of legacy, which is something transmitted by or received from an ancestor or from the past. And basically, that just opens it up to help us understand that legacy, not only can it be monetary or property, but also just a way of thought and attitude towards life. So, what do you have to say about legacy, Ann?
Well, one of the most important things when I think about legacy first is making sure that I'm leaving a piece of myself here on earth. It's one thing that we live this life and we know that at one time or another we're all going to die and pass on. But what are we leaving behind? That is the number one. And the number one thing that's important to me is that I leave a good perception of who I am. When people hear my name, that they can say that I've added value into their life, and that is something that can pass down from generation to generation. Maybe it is that they learned something from me. Maybe it is that I said something one day to encourage them to tap into their greatness. To me, that's legacy. But even looking farther than that, when I look at my seeds here on earth, there's a desire to leave wealth. There's a desire to leave a path. There's a desire to leave something that is tangible that they can grab a hold to and be able to manifest it in their life in a great way.
Right.
So when I think about
Yeah.
legacy, it just has so many different meanings, so many different compartments to that, because it's not only for me and mine, it's for everybody whose life that I've touched along the way in my years here on earth.
Yeah, and as I was thinking about recording this show, 2020, we've lost two great men, one being our
Absolutely.
dad earlier in the year, and just here recently, Papa, my maternal grandfather, and Dad, he left a legacy of hard work, and he used to always try to drive into my mind, you need to start your own business. You don't need to be working. I was like, nah, that's not for me, sir. But he tried, But yeah, it just reinforces the fact, especially if you're a parent, but even if you're not a parent, just knowing that those around you, your actions, the things that you do, that you say, how you respond to situations, your actions have more of an impact on those around you than you think. And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, it usually turns into a situation to where you never fully know how great of an impact you have until, say, it's your funeral and people get up and they give their tributes. Well, I mean, it's
Yeah,
the truth. It's
that's
the
the truth.
truth.
That
you
that
know,
is the truth.
I found out stuff about my grandfather that I didn't know, and it was through a tribute, and I was like, oh. You know, so I think you've heard the term "give people their flowers while they're living," and that's
Absolutely.
something you definitely do, and you have mentioned that, and I applaud you for that. And I'm trying, but you know,
That's one thing I don't want to have done. Sometimes when we die and we pass on, people create a legacy for us. I don't want that. I don't want uh, now all of a sudden I'm gone. You got to think of something good or something great to say about me. I don't want that. I try to do good. I try to live good. I try to add value to everyone I meet. Whatever I do, I want to give 100%. Now, to some people, it is accepted and falls on good ground, and to others, no matter how much you try to impart into their lives, it's just not going to fall on good soil. And so they at that point have to do the work for themselves. But there are good people in this world, good people with
Hmm.
good legacies that they are leaving behind, and yet no matter how good they are, it's just not going to be received by some. And so it is my hope that as I go about creating this legacy, as I go out and give everything that I have, that it will fall on good soil, and that those that come across where our paths meet, that I leave something that they can implement in their lives, not only for a season such as now, but for generations to come. And so don't wait till I'm dead to say what I've done for you. Now is the time to read the books. Now is the time to listen to the podcast. Now is the time to uh, listen to my platforms and to give me feedback, to say, so that I can hear and so that I can grow and I can develop and continue to build upon the legacy that I desire to create and leave here on earth. So, yeah. We all know those uh tributes when people die and pass on. That doesn't benefit people anything. you know how about
Right.
now that you have the people here, you can't take any day, any minute, any second for granted. You must do it now.
That is so true. That is so true. It's all about planting the seeds and pouring into others. And so, audience, we're curious. Connect with us. Send us an email and let us know what legacy what will you leave behind. You can email us at moneymindset at transformu, the letter U, broadcast.com, and just let us know what legacy are you leaving behind. And also, you can share with us what are some of the greatest legacies that have been left to you, by those who have passed before you. So, yeah, let us know. I know one thing that I'm doing or have done here recently with my kids. I have two teenagers. Wow, time flies.
Yes, yes.
I have a 13 and a 16-year-old, and we just released our book. It's called Many Money Lessons for Teens. It's the little guide that sparks big discussions. You can get a copy of it through Amazon on paperback or ebook through Barnes and Nobles or Apple Books or the other major retailers. I'll include a link in the notes, but a part of the legacy that I would like to leave behind is a legacy of financial literacy. And not just to my kids, but, I taught Sunday school for a number of years, even to those kids and any other friends of my kids that would listen to me and my nieces. I'm always trying to encourage them to make wise decisions as far as finances are concerned and kind of teach them the basics of that because the gift of financial literacy, that is definitely something that goes on for generations and generations to come. So check out my book, Many Money Lessons for Teens. And in addition to that, I also try to teach my kids, I'd like to leave them a legacy of just being open minded and caring towards everyone,
Absolutely.
regardless of the differences, regardless of
Absolutely.
different backgrounds, religious beliefs, etc. But just to care for and respect everybody, equally. So I think that's really important.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Hey, I got my book on the way. I'm already ordered mine, so I'm looking forward to that. It's good to have just in your library. But also, even more than that, I was thinking about, getting that kind of book into the schools, into our school libraries, to where the kids can have ready access to that, but also for teachers who can implement that in their curriculum one way or another. That's going to be really a good resource to have for our children, for us, by us. So um, that's awesome. So I'm excited to get my copy in the mail. Nonetheless, guys, when we're talking about legacy, uh, now is a better time than any to even start teaching our kids about what legacy looks like. My kids are grown and in college. They're college students. But it's never too late to get legacy on their minds, because we move toward the things that we keep in front of us. And legacy is about the future. Legacy is about moving forward. And when we don't have vision, we lose sight on the direction that we are going in life. And I see so many young people, they're getting discouraged with everything that they're up against. And they can't really see past right now. It's just the generation and the time in which we live. Everything is so instantaneous, so immediate gratification. And so when we get them to start forward thinking and thinking
Hmm.
about legacy and thinking about the impact that they're going to make on this life, whether positive or negative, they're leaving legacy. Whether it's let's just get that straight right now, whether it's positive or negative, you're leaving something. You're leaving
Yes.
something behind. You're making an impression in this world. And so what better way to get them forward thinking, to get their minds focused on the things that are ahead and moving toward greater things as it relates to
Hmm.
legacy.
Yep, you are so true. You said it. What does the Bible say? Where there is no vision, the people
People
perish.
perish for sure.
Yeah,
And we
yeah, that
see
is
many
so
of it,
true.
many of it, so many people, we're losing sight. We're losing sight on the things that are uh, promised to us, things that we're inherited, just by being children of God, or just by being here. Many of us, do you know that, when I think about wealth, wealth left through our legacy, through our family lineage, do you know that uh, a high percentage of that wealth is lost uh, after one generation? It never gets to flow down from generation to generation, and it's because the generation that inherits that wealth or that legacy, they're not equipped. They don't have the knowledge or uh, the skill to carry it on out, to grow it and develop, and so uh, they don't have the mindset for that forward thinking. So we don't want our legacies to be lost in one generation. We want it to live from generation to generation. So just begin to think about that, and if you can learn it, what better way to allow that to give life to everything that is connected to you, by teaching those and modeling that before the people that um, look up to you the most, because they are watching us, they are listening,
Hmm.
they are willing to learn, they are willing to jump in with you. It's just that you have to give them the opportunity. And I was just sitting here and that thought came to my mind. But what about if I am one of those that haven't done everything right up to this point? What if I've uh,
Who
burned
has?
some bridges along the way? Well, I mean, we've all been there and done that. All that matters is that you start. You can start right now, changing and shifting direction of the legacy that you desire to leave for you and those that come after you.
Yeah, yeah. And I had a thought the other day. It's, how we say everyone has a gift. We all have a gift. It's just a matter of, figuring out what that gift is. And the thought was, well, even a step further, how about we all are the gift?
Absolutely.
So just like you're the gift to me, I'm the gift to you. And
Absolutely.
so, and that is definitely the truth because you are a gift to me. And our listening audience, you guys are gifts to us because you support us, and hopefully we are supporting you as well. We hope you're picking up something that encourages you to move on and do more. But, you know, there's so much going on that bids for our attention, our focus, our energy, and we really don't sit back and think about, okay, what is it? What life do I want to live, and what do I intentionally want to leave behind. Because, like you stated earlier, yes, whether it be positive, whether it be negative or other, we are leaving a legacy. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. So yeah, I mean, you may have some things broken, but pick up the pieces that remain and move toward rebuilding that legacy. It's not too late. As long as you have breath in your body, you can make that
yes,
shift. So, if you're
yes.
here listening to the Money and Mindset podcast, today we are talking about what legacy will you leave? What legacy will you leave? And so, we're all going to leave a legacy one way or another. We're leaving a legacy. We're leaving our imprint in this earth, in this life. So, we want to make sure that we're leaving the things that are important to us. It's not all about wealth. Wealth is good, and hopefully, we're going to get to that point where we're able to leave some wealth here for the next generation. But more than that, your good name. One thing that
Hmm.
is important is that every family doesn't have a good name. There are some last names that we don't want to be associated with. There's some families that we don't want to be associated with. And so that was one of the things that I have been very proud of from both sides of my family, is that if they didn't leave anything else, they left a good name. And so when people hear your name, um, that means something. And many of us, we say, well, we come from that family that don't have that good name. We come from that family that people associated with criminals and crooks and fighting and all kind of negativity, addicts and things like that. But even still, you carry that name. You can begin to shift the direction of the
Hmm.
legacy and redefine what your name means. You can do that. And what an awesome legacy to live for those that are coming after you, is to shift the direction of that legacy for you and your family.
Yes, that is so true. Um, I like quotes, and I saw a quote by Jan Brewer. She was the fourth woman to serve as governor of Arizona. And a quote that she left was, "My mother always told me that as you go through life, no matter what you do or how you do it, you leave a little footprint, and that's your legacy."
Hmm.
So just think, what little footprint would you like to leave?
A big footprint in my.
A big, yes, a big. Well, if you think of the grand scheme of thing, as
Yeah,
big as the world is, but
yeah,
yes, it's like what footprint do you want to leave behind?
absolutely. Yeah. Well, one thing that 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 I know is that, guys, you matter, and you need to know that, as in regards to your legacy, in regards to um, many of the things that you're having to overcome. None of us were uh, left here given a silver platter to to do it all with. We just have to take what we have and make the best out of it. And that comes with um, shifting our mindsets. It comes with looking at the resources that we do have, and just developing new habits to make it happen.
Hmm. Yes, and one key to that is, and you've mentioned it before, is reading and continuous education. We will always highlight reading and continuous education. And when we say reading, it may not mean just picking up a book like, I would like to do. It might be like
Yeah,
Ann's preference, listening to an audio book. Either
that's
way.
right. That's right. It's all important. That's the only outside a conversation, having with you throughout the years, talking about money, and seeming like it's falling on deaf ears, that reading and coming into those audio books and uh, just putting good stuff in me helped change the direction not only of my financial situations and uh, establishing and building wealth, but also, just a mindset. We're conditioned to that mediocre and poverty mindset, and so we feel like that this is all, but it's all that we have created in our mind to uh, in our capacity. So you have to shift that. And in order to shift that, you have to have the knowledge. So learning is a lifelong process. So if your finances are not where you want it to be, if you're surrounded in debt, if maybe, like I said, you haven't done things right up until this point. The only way you're going to get the knowledge and the encouragement and the empowerment that you need is by educating yourself, and that is by reading. You must. There's no way around it. These podcasts, they're good, but they give you only so much information. You have to dig a little deeper to get to the root of the things that you need.
That is so true. Well, guys, I think this is going to put an end to this episode. Just throughout the week, just sit back and think, what legacy will you leave behind? And just start working towards that. Do you have anything else to add, Ann, before we close out?
Guys, it's not an overnight process. You have to take each day to develop new, healthier habits. Think about the legacy that you want to leave. Think about the things that are important to you, and each day begin to build on that.
That's it. She said it. Thanks for joining us at another episode of the Money and Mindset podcast. Please be sure to subscribe and share and tell a friend.
Until next time, I'm Anntricia Bray Smith.
And I'm Sheryka Alford.